For the demonstration of the electronic reporting framework, I will use a purchase order report. I will add one new field, delivery mode, first to its data source and in the next step to the format design. I will add it to the purchase order header as this kind of information naturally belongs there. There are two configurations responsible for generating the electronic reporting report data source, model and model mapping. For the next step, format design, we will need the third electronic reporting configuration, format. If you are a user or a functional consultant working on this report, you need to execute the following steps. One-time action per report. From the thousands of XML configurations provided by Microsoft, identify the configurations you need and import them through Exchange Load from XML file. I have already done it, and the result are these three configurations: order model, purchase order model mapping, and purchase order Excel. For each of them, create your own configuration by deriving from the corresponding Microsoft configuration. When creating the model mapping and format configuration, you will need to provide the name of the related model, so make sure to pick your derived model here. Now open your derived model configuration, go to its designer, identify the place where you want this new field to appear. This model already contains the field named Delivery Mode under Delivery group of fields, but I want to demonstrate adding a new field, so I will add it within this same group but with the suffix demo. Make sure to select the correct data type and apply the required label. Save your new model configuration and you are done with it. Next, you will open the model mapping configuration and go to its designer. Action required here depends on the value you need to fetch for your new field. The simplest case is if you need to display a value of some field from a table that is already used as a data source for this report. Then you will only point to that field and bind it to the field you've previously added to the model. A bit more complex case, but still not too complicated, is if you need a value from some field that exists in the database in some table that is directly or indirectly related to a table already present in the data source. Delivery mode is such example, and the first thing I can try is to search for this field, assuming that I know its name. Nothing happens because this search doesn't look through the subnodes of this tree, but it only searches the currently selected level. So, as the search is rather useless, I will need to try to figure out from all the related tables presented here which one I need. It involves a bit of a cut and dry approach, and honestly, D365F&O data model is so complex that I don't see how non-developers can solve some more complex requirements. Being a technical profile, I know that electronic reporting models for business documents are based on the SSRS report data source, which I'm familiar with as any developer who worked with the standard SSRS purchase order report. For me, it means that the top-level data source is a report data provider, so I will expand this node. By looking at what is available here, the best bet seems to be this node, Get Purchase Order Header. I will further expand it. Let's try once again to search for mode of delivery. It is in a better mode now. Good, I got some search result, but it is a delivery address, so I will keep searching further below, but without any success. Again, nothing. I will again employ my knowledge about the D365F&O data model to reach the right field. I will need to look for the related tables, which I will find by expanding the Relations node. Which of these two should I expand? Well, multiple purchase order headers might have the same mode of delivery. So I will expand the many-to-one Relations node. Once again, search doesn't point to the field I'm looking for. There's delivery address, delivery terms, delivery name, and that's it. So what's next? Well, this get purchase order header node has returned the SSRS report data provider table for the header, which contains only the fields that are fetched by the SSRS data provider class. It is a subset of all fields available on purchase order, and it obviously doesn't contain the mode of delivery field. Therefore, I will need to first reach the actual purchase order for which this report is being printed. By looking at the available relations, there are these two purchase order tables. How do you know which one to pick? Well, I don't have a good answer except for I'm going to pick the one having the exact name of the purchase order header, which is purch table. Here I will again try to search for delivery. Finally, after some cut and try attempts, I found a field that seems to be the right one according to its name. How do I know that it is the field I'm looking for? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like a good candidate, so I will take it and we'll later see what happens when I print the report based on this data source. I need to specify that I want the value from this field to be used to populate the field that I've previously added to the data model. So for that, I will expand the data model on the right side and select that field. While the two fields are selected, one in the data source on the left and one in the data model on the right, I will click the Bind button. To test if you get the expected value in the newly added field, you need to execute the report. I will reprint one purchase order confirmation, let's say the first one in this journal, but let's first check which value it has in the delivery mode. This purchase order has a value 10. How is this electronic reporting report triggered? Main piece of information is the electronic reporting format, which you need to select in the print management for this report. Remember, it is because purchase order is print management report, otherwise the process is less straightforward. Next time when you execute the purchase order report through print management, this electronic reporting format will be triggered. How are all these three electronic reporting configurations interconnected? Remember, we created an electronic reporting format by deriving from the Microsoft provided format. This electronic reporting format has information that it is based on the new derived electronic reporting model. And the derived model mapping we made also has the information that it is based on that same derived electronic reporting model. So, in print management, we specified that it should trigger the execution of the derived electronic reporting format, which knows that it should trigger the execution of the derived model and model mapping configuration. Simple, right? I'm just kidding, but that's how it is. Right now, we don't have any modifications in the electronic reporting format, so it isn't capable of displaying our newly added delivery mode field. But the field will be in the report data source, and it should have the correct value. How can we check only the report data source? In configuration, user parameters, I have set the enable data debugging at format run. As a result, when this electronic reporting format is triggered, a report will be executed up to the moment when the report data source is prepared. Then a dialog pops up asking if you want to start debugging instead of generating the outbound document. A debug data sources form appears, where you need to expand the tree on the left side and select the field you want to check. Then click the Get Value button, and on the right side you will see its value. Great, I got the value 10 as expected, meaning that the report data source modification works well. This helps a lot in the report development process because you can focus only on the data source. Even before you add this new field to the format, you can check if the field with the correct value is added to the report data source. When you get the correct result in this step, you can move to the next step, format design. By the way, this was a rather simple requirement, binding a field that already exists. You will often encounter rather complex requirements. For example, a value you need doesn't come directly from some field. Instead, it should be a result of some more or less complex calculation over the fields that exist in various tables in the system. These screenshots show some possible ways for fetching the product image and adding it to the sales invoice or sales packing slip line as a field. And here I have an expression to fetch a whole record, in particular document management attachment from the current legal entity, based on some business requirements for the attachment language category and so on.